Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristin.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show. This is So I'm Watching Wolfpack, Season 1, Episode 5.
Incendiary.
This was a good episode.
Yeah.
A lot happened. There's still something that's just so weird about the show that I can't quite put my finger on. I think it's maybe there's this like open hostility.
Okay.
Well, at this point now we have Blake and Everett, who now do officially have a romantic connection. Like they have actually in real world.
Yeah.
It was
maybe they were shroomy. Yeah.
And Harlan and Luna obviously have a brother-sister bond. But there is just a lot of like outright animosity.
Sure. Well,
and I think that's one thing that's throwing me.
Okay.
But it also will depend on where the rest of the season and potential seasons of the show go.
Yeah, I think also it's like literally nobody is telling 100% of the truth. So that's also very odd.
Well, one of my favorite parts about this episode is that we actually dealt with other characters and some of the other kids. I find Phoebe fascinating.
She's very funny.
She is hilarious to me. She still is antagonistic. We have Tia. We have Cyrus Nix.
Yes.
Which you are right. Possibly the coolest name ever.
That name slaps.
He was the Cole Sprouse looking one
that was making out.
Harlan was making out with in the fire truck at the rave last week.
I think.
I'm pretty sure. Although if we've seen him before that, I'm not entirely sure. And
then there's also Cody, who's the gym boy.
Is that the drug dealer kid?
Yes.
Everyone's so gay, and I think it's fantastic. I love it. Harlan triggers my fight or flight. Like, he is just everything about hot gays and the scene with all three of them.
I can't, who is
interrogating each other. It's just hell. It doesn't have to be like that, but it is. And it all comes down to everybody wants to suck it, but no one will actually give anyone the upper hand. Because we grew up in self-defense mode, so it's horrible. But I feel
like these kids grew up in so much less of that mode because they're 16 now.
Was this written in the 90s?
I don't know, dude.
The book, I think the book was...
Oh, the book. Okay.
That would explain... I don't know how much they're sticking to the book, but it has a very 90s.
Published in 2004.
Okay.
That suits. That checks out. Although the cover makes it look like it came out in the 90s. It's very like the Island of Dolphins or whatever. This one has so many abs.
Don't keep reading. You'll spoil something.
Oh, shit. Okay. Sorry. Did you spoil it?
No, but it just sort of the three wolves.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't going to read any of it.
Okay.
But,
no, it did some necessary things that I needed. Largely the characters sort of like being together with each other. They're obviously, our wolf pack is on a mission. They get another creepy phone call from Ian Bowen. They finally answer it after playing like phone tag for a while. Yeah. He's such a bitch. He's just calling them and reading poetry.
Reading
in like
Ovid.
And we got the obligatory like lichen myth that we get in every werewolf, that Zeus and yada yada. And so anyways, he's like, the wolf kills every night.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be someone that you're tangentially
because it's like
angry with, or
but like what did the doctor and the nurse? The doctor was worse than the nurse. Like, what did the nurse do? Poor nurse.
Well, I mean, so depending on what the deal is with the werewolf, it could just perceive medical aid as aggression. They're sticking needles in them. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
So they try to save the nurse. It was giving me very 2004 Cursed.
Sure.
Wes Craven's Cursed.
Sure.
Maya or Shannon Elizabeth, I forget which one, being sucked into the bushes and then the body thrown back out. Yeah. that is both a compliment and a burn coming from me. But so then they think that, I guess it's the next night, they think that it's going to attack.
Well, because also in
this kickback,
in his supreme bitchiness, Ian Bowen is dropping them location pins to where the next person will be killed. And I'm just sort of like, what?
Why don't you do something about it, Ian
what
Bohen?
do we have to do about it? So
with your scream voice changer.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be at this kickback at the Salvatore Mansion, aka Tia's house.
I was gonna say it's Tia's house, because once again, Phoebe's coming in hot, like she owns the place. I mean, I get the sense that any place Phoebe's at is Phoebe's.
But like towards the end, towards the end, when the four of them have been there for hours for everybody to be coming down from shrooms, she's like, get out. And it's like, what? And then
she wasn't on shrooms, she was drunk.
Yes,
so
but
she
everybody
just came too.
But it's been hours because everybody else is fine. And so then it's like she's not even going to Tia to be like, Tia, tell them to leave. She's just like random bystanders. She's like, tell them to get out. And I'm like,
and there was one dude there that I have no idea who he was.
His name is Baron, apparently.
Have we seen him before?
No, but this a blonde curly haired boy.
Oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Did he come with drug dealer? Which one's drug dealer?
No, the drug dealer came with two girls.
Did he?
He brought two girls. He brought Raya and someone else who doesn't seem to be listed here.
Okay. So yeah, Phoebe decides that she wants Blake out. I keep wanting to say Bella because her name is Bella Shepherd, but it's Blake. And I should have a hard time with that because I knew a girl named Blake, but and Blake is like very
well, they're trying to be very magnanimous because they don't want the wolf to see them getting angry at somebody because they're worried that person will get killed.
Whether or not this show is good or bad, I have no clue. The jury is out. But I'm finding whatever it is fascinating and hilarious because I like the notion it's like the werewolf has to kill, and it's just like it's got to cross that off its list.
Yeah,
and it would just prefer that death be someone who's hurting its wolf children.
Yeah.
So it's like it's quite literally mincing with a watch because time's ticking.
It's like wait,
and it's like which one of you is going to make them angry enough to warrant me killing them? And like, it's very funny.
Because I also don't think I don't know. Austin's thing was like in retaliation for bullying. So like
Austin's thing?
When he made that remix of the
Phoebe.
So that was in retaliation for Phoebe's bullying. So I don't feel like Austin was the one.
Yeah, but Austin is, I think he's run by a system of squirrels.
Yeah.
Like, it's very...
Just one. It's down to one squirrel up there. I don't know either because it was actually kind of fun last week with him and Luna. And then this week, he's like immediately being a dick to her and she calls him out on it. And he was like, oh shit. And then they had kind of a like, sweet moment at the piano.
Okay, Luna, hands down, easily my favorite. I can't remember if I said this last week. I probably did, but because she's so hot, because Chloe's so hot, and they have her all like Stevie Nicks out and stuff. She's very swishy. I was just assuming she was like popular girl. But I love that she's the weird, she's like horse girl.
We did call her horse girl last week. She does have big horse girl energy. And
those braids, those chunky braids.
And I think the like flowy Stevie Nicks-y stuff feeds into that.
It's so funny, but so now.
But it is hilarious.
Because her Austin thing, I couldn't make that click. But now I'm like, oh, she's weird.
She's weird. Like she's punching up to Austin somehow. It gives me two things that we've talked about before. One of which is like the Carrie remake with Chloe Grace Moretz, where we were like, no universe is she getting picked on. She's so hot. And then the other one was when we absolutely shit ourselves talking about Riverdale, and you at one point were like, no, in the world of Riverdale, they're actually just sixes
across the board.
But like we're seeing this from like
through the lens of television. And
I was like, that's hysterical.
Well, Chloe's doing a good job. She's being
a little awkward. I get it. And she's quiet and she's like a little strange. I get it. It's making sense to me.
It was just
But you're right. She's like comically too hot.
But I think my thing is I see it now.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that it took me. I mean, I guess at any show it can take you 5 episodes to get a sense of some of the characters. Yeah. But I don't think I mentioned this yet, but there was also a extremely necessary scene where Harlan was nice to Everett.
Yeah. Well, because they were trying to get the door off the car that the nurse was in, and Harlan was like, you need to like go to the gym because I didn't like see any effort from you or whatever.
Well, you're supposed to be the strong one. Where was your strength?
They also still can't totally like control it and everything.
I mean, as much as I don't love Harlan's whole thing, not bad advice.
No, of course.
For someone who is unknowingly now in a werewolf supernatural drama.
Of course. But then so
Unwittingly.
they were at the gym, and they were like going 1-to-1, like adding weight to their bench press and everything, and then finally Harlan like couldn't do it anymore, and so Everett was like spotting him, and he was like, it just was like nice. It was like really a good little kind of bonding moment. They laughed with each other. It was he stopped being a total prick for 3 seconds. It was great. We also opened the episode with baby Harlan getting listening lessons from Garrett in the woods. And he thinks he saw his real dad.
Well, he saw a wolf.
Yeah.
And a very ordinary looking wolf,
Yeah.
he said. But he is convinced it's his father. And it's one of those things where these types of shows do run that way. They do just sort of take a lot on faith. Or it's just like, yeah, that's what we're dealing with. Even I liked the call out, and we'll get to it in a second, but I liked the call out with Kristin RAMsey where she was like, sounds like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of an important self-referential work, but it was like within the world acknowledging that that's sort of kind of what we're dealing with.
Sure. Oh, the wolf, like he saw the wolf and he's convinced it's his father. And then they made several non-intuitive leaps about how something has turned his normal wolf father into this monster, and if they could just turn him back into a regular wolf, maybe they could turn him back into a human also. And I was like,
I was like, dude, you have got a perfectly good human dad that you are barely using.
That flashback scene was darling. Like, it was so sweet.
Oh, I was getting at, I think I said this when we were watching. We are also watching the show. If you want to, like, the full show, if you want to watch along with us, you can head on over to our Patreon at our $3 Watchers tier and just watch our full unedited thing. So some of the comments I forget.
Yeah, where I
made them, but and I mean, maybe it's just the part of me that still gets a little bit like butterflies when gay shit is so on TV. But Harlan's scene with Cyrus, where they were talking out of the pool, it was actually kind of getting to me. And
they want to go on a date.
I mean, I like it. I like that they kind of because that was immediately following the kind of little pissing contest with Cody.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like the notion that Cyrus is jealous.
Yeah.
And trying to secure
a date.
Yeah, Harlan.
He wants
trying
to
be
go
like,
to dinner.
So I thought that was cute. And then I guess
Adorable.
the other main thing from the party was that Austin dove into the pool to get his phone. And
the pool lights aren't working.
Look, that is a gorgeous mansion.
Yeah.
That is a nice pool. It's not that big.
No.
You can see in a pool.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm criticizing it. I'm not. This is the part I enjoyed. The second part the second most part I enjoyed. The werewolf is somehow in the water, like lady in the water style. Yeah. Lying
like
and
just chilling at the bottom.
It was quiet when they were having their fight.
Yeah.
Like before that. Oh, maybe it could have like slipped in while the awful remix was playing.
From 4 feet across to the other side of the pool.
Again, favorite part.
No, amazing.
Don't stop. Don't change.
Don't change a thing.
And so he's in the murkiest, deepest part of this pool.
Straight up turned into like the Leavesden studio, like where they filmed
the Goblet of Fire.
Like where they filmed the water scenes in Titanic level shit. Insane.
And so he gets to his phone, and then we cut back to where are the pool lights? I told you they're broken. And so he turns his phone's flashlight on.
Because it's still working. It's totally submerged in water. Not a case to be seen on any of these bitches' phones.
And it illuminates the werewolf. No. Yes.
Well, it's like coming at him, kind of, and So
he tries to swim out. He does. He gets out. And then it's hanging out just under the surface. It didn't break. It was like, oh.
So they all scream and go inside.
And run 3 feet into the glass solarium.
Into the orangery, like.
And then it was gone. Insane. It was just not in the pool. Holy cow. That was fantastic. I truly loved.
Well, Austin though he's like 3 counties over. He was like running. He was not still in the solarium.
Okay.
He was away.
Oh my god. So the other plot that is happening is that Kristin RAMsey is still investigating this fire, because if she does one thing, it's investigate fires. Don't worry, by the end of this episode, we find out 2 things that she does. They have determined that the arsonist is a student because it was using a explosive that was 3D printed from the school.
Mm-hmm.
And she thinks it's linked to the previous fire. She thinks it's repeat just because these kids were involved in the previous, or
so it's
connected to it.
Cyrus's father died in that fire, and then Harlan and Luna were found in the fire. And so Garrett...
And he's telling Garrett's telling the story pretty straightforward.
Yeah, he's like, they were abandoned, so I agreed to foster them.
He just leaves out the wolf part.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he was like, well, they were babies when he first...
That is true, under the tree, yeah.
Or no, they were wolves first. They were wolves when he found them, but then they turned into babies as soon as he got them back to, like, the car. Regardless. Yeah, but he just was like, social services was, like, too backed up, and by the time they found a family, I wanted to keep them, and so... But then he also was like, although I regret the decision every time I talk to Harlan.
Well, he was like, he said it kind of like kids, am I right?
Yeah.
But he was like, although I find myself questioning it anytime I fight with Harlan, and I was like so constantly.
Every day.
On every minute, every waking moment.
And that's when we find out
we found out a second, so we know 3 things about Kristin RAMsey.
She has a dead son.
She had a son who died to fire.
Yeah.
I want to know more.
Yeah.
But also I could understand if that was it.
Yeah.
She came at Prisha really hard. Prisha apparently was with some like
just some activism,
radical like
after college
eco.
Who hasn't? Come on.
And they were investigating the building, the abandoned building that we've been to a couple times, and she had like footage of the fires
from the helicopter
from when they like first started, and so they think that
there were 2 origin points, and basically they were able to put together, because they were like, they started at the same time, which is weird. And she was like, well, one of them was probably remote detonated while he set the other one, and then he came back here to watch. And it was Garrett that was like, well, one of the first lessons that they have in that robotics class with the 3D printer is drones. And so basically it was like they set 2 drones at the same time to start the 2 origin points, and he watched the whole thing from right here. So fascinating.
Kind of, yeah. I understand the fire pretty aspect of it, but then there's all of the dead animals and people and then damaged property. So
I don't understand.
You gotta be crazy.
I don't understand arson.
Yeah.
I can like wrap my mind around a lot of crimes, but
arson like burning like an abandoned something or other, that checks to me. But a wildfire, Jesus,
like
Christ.
Purposefully setting a wildfire, like again, even like accidentally setting a wildfire, I can like understand like not properly disposing of something.
But I guess because because if you were to kill somebody, it's very point A, point B. Like it's very like, I am choosing to kill this person.
Yeah.
But wildfire, is it the step removed that
maybe
that's part of the appeal? I
don't know, because they're also so like unpredictable. So you don't know who would die, and or what would die.
I'm still curious what the arsonist has to do with the werewolves of it all.
Me too.
Because the part you've probably been waiting for, Kristin RAMsey discovers or confirms the elevator shaft full of dead bodies.
Alone as well. She sent Officer Jang, Garrett, and Prisha away. So she could discover it alone.
I was like, she's being weird. Well, she had a guy with her, the security guard with her. She didn't have a security guard?
No, of course she did. That was on purpose. That was way on purpose.
I don't think it necessarily was. So what I'm giving, because this episode ends hard on she's part of it or the bad guy.
Part of it.
So basically she sends our other characters away, and her and the security guard go into that room and find the elevator shaft with all the dead bodies. And he was very like Scooby-Doo, like, whoa.
Yeah.
And she was like, I figured. Or like, this again. And so she then kills him with her flashlight.
Hard.
And it was graphic.
Yeah.
So then maybe I do. Well, it was what I was thinking was I was like, she's part of a Area 51, like some kind of government or some kind of like a higher supernatural thing. And so I figured he was just collateral. I figured that it's not so much that she's a bad guy and needed to kill him. It's that he can't
know about it.
Yeah, that's what it was giving me. And I mean, we don't get a sense of what his life was like.
The security guard?
I'm trying to justify her actions.
I don't know. He looked pretty dumpy. He probably lives in a studio apartment and eats ramen every night. Does that help? Does that make it sadder?
Very, very blasé, very casual about the whole thing.
Well, she also he was like, what could have done this? And she was like, the werewolf. Right. It was a supernatural phenomenon. It's a werewolf for sure.
So she like 100% knows what she's...
Which also means
so then it has to be connected to the arson.
She's gaslighting Austin and the rest of the people who have said they saw something like that.
Maybe she is a bad guy. I'm having a hard time with this.
I don't know. I'm still like pretty obsessed with her, and I think she's great. I also
20% of it is your name.
It is my name. My name spelled correctly in a TV show? Are you kidding? Also, I did just realize her name is RAMsey. Did I blow your fucking mind?
The animals have to be...
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Remember when I made a joke about a walrus like 2 episodes ago? What would you have done if there was a walrus in the pool? No, I prefer the werewolf.
Yeah, of course.
That was so dumb.
I don't know. I just was like, oh, okay, RAMsey. What are we doing? And then Garrett has all those rams in the house. I don't know. I'm very interested. I also did like that when Everett and Harlan were having their nice scene, he was like, I tried to do the listening thing that you can do the other day, and he was like, all I heard was that my mom said she hates me, and Harlan just was like brutal. It was amazing. Really good.
I don't know. The more I talk about it, the more I'm convincing myself that I love it. So
I think I like it.
It's at the very least weird.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly saying, give me something weird.
It's weird, and it's also mostly vibes. Like there's
all of the lighting.
There's not a lot of plot. It's a lot of vibes.
That like, because they were having the party, the pool kickback. In the location of Jennifer Lopez's Waiting for Tonight.
Yeah,
there was just green laser lights everywhere in the woods. It was great. I love everything.
Yeah.
Everything happening. So
super fun.
On that note,
got 3 episodes left.
Yeah. Ooh, is it only?
I think it's only 8.
Feels like it should be a 10.
It is 8.
Well, we'll see you back next week.
Yeah.
The ratings are going up on it.
Oh, that's good.
I wonder if this could turn into...
I think it's getting better as it goes.
Again, I hate that I don't know how I feel. I keep comparing it to Teen Wolf, but I'm like, that's a Teen Wolf. When you were only 5 episodes into Teen Wolf, it was kind of like,
what are we doing? Yeah, I agree.
And the thing is, it's like Phoebe and Harlan are giving me like Lydia and Jackson. I didn't like Lydia at
the beginning.
You know what I mean? And I'm just afraid that I hope they resist the urge to kill everybody off. And going on the fact that the people that we lost this episode were the doctor and the nurse, it gives me a little bit of hope that this crop of kids, because it's like I don't mind investing, like I don't mind giving them the benefit of the doubt if it leads to something. Or
also like in my opinion, none of these kids have done anything unforgivable yet, so it's like they don't deserve to die, and it's like if they just through horror movie rules, they haven't done anything that warrants death. So I feel like if any of them died yet, I think it would be too soon.
We still don't know what Connor's deal is.
He's still gone, like missing, presumed dead. Yeah, he's probably in that pit.
Well,
but
I think they would have shown
it. They haven't closed up on his face, so I don't know. Interesting.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
We've gone on too long.